I think the evidence will show that this is a sad case, that there are no monsters here. Sometimes you have to laugh to keep from crying. So let me, at considerable risk, let me say, I'd like to tell you a little joke. I know how that may sound a bit weird in this context under these circumstances. But I think you're the perfect audience for it. As long as you if you don't like it or you don't think it's funny or inappropriate, that you don't hold it against Mr. Zimmerman. You can hold it against me if you want, but not Mr. Zimmerman. I have your assurance you won't. Here's how it goes. Knock, knock. Who's there? George Zimmerman. George Zimmerman, who? All right, good. You're on the jury. Nothing? That's funny. After what you folks have been through the last 2 or 3 weeks?
Six women, some of them mothers, are set to hear the murder case against George Zimmerman. 4 alternate jurors, 2 women, 2 men, also impaneled. All of them sequestered. The question they'll tackle, is George Zimmerman a murderer, or did he act in self-defense when he shot and killed 17-year-old Trayvon Martin?
He's got something in his hands. I don't know what his deal is. They always get away.
Are you following him?
Yeah.
It's been more than a year since the volunteer watchman reported someone suspicious in his Sanford, Florida neighborhood. Police say Zimmerman ignored instructions, pursued the person, and there was a violent confrontation. Zimmerman admits he killed Martin, who was not armed, but says he acted to protect his own life, an explanation Martin's family takes strong issue with.
It's not okay for vigilantes to kill our kids and get away with it.
The high-profile nature of this case raised questions as to whether a fair and impartial jury could be seated so close to where the shooting occurred. Attorneys spent hours questioning potential jurors.
Everybody understand defendant deserves a fair trial, right? But you understand there's also another party here, the state of Florida, that also deserves a fair trial.
With the trial now set, another major question, will George Zimmerman testify in his own defense?
It was also the first day of testimony in the trial of George Zimmerman for the death of Trayvon Martin today. And it was kind of weird. Well, the prosecutor went straight for the jugular, told the jury that Zimmerman fatally shot Martin not because he had to, but because he, quote, wanted to. The defense attorney, Don West, decided to tell a joke.
Knock, knock. Who's there? George Zimmerman. George Zimmerman, who? All right, good. You're on the jury. Nothing? That's funny. After what you folks have been through the last 2 or 3 weeks?
I'm not sure I get it, Jason. Was that supposed to be funny?
It was a voir dire joke, and they're funny to lawyers and nobody else.
Just a very bizarre start to the trial, I think you could say.
Yeah. Maybe not open with a joke in your murder trial. It's my advice. You can have that for free.
Today was day 1 of the George Zimmerman murder trial, and it got off to a wild start. During opening arguments, the prosecution dropped the F-bomb, and the defense attorney told a knock-knock joke. Ann Mercogliano is here with more on what happened in court today. Ann.
Heidi, in court, Zimmerman was portrayed as a gun-toting wannabe cop who took his job as a community watchman too far. The prosecutor said if Zimmerman had done what 911 had instructed, Trayvon Martin would be alive today.
First came the opening argument full of profanity from the prosecution.
Punks. These they always get away. Those were the words in that grown man's mouth.
Then a knock-knock joke from the defense that didn't evoke much of a response.
Knock, knock. Who's there? George Zimmerman. George Zimmerman, who? All right, good. You're on the jury.
George Zimmerman says he was defending his life against 17-year-old Trayvon Martin when he shot and killed him in Sanford, Florida last year. The teen was unarmed. The prosecution says this 911 call says it all.
So you think he's yelling help?
Yes.
All right, what is your...
Listen carefully when the screaming stops. It's right when the gunshot goes off. Trayvon Martin was silenced immediately.
The defense says it's not clear who is yelling for help. A judge ruled expert testimony on the call cannot be used in court.
There are no monsters here. Sometimes you have to laugh to keep from crying.
Listening to opening arguments, both families. At times they walked out, at times they cried.
George Zimmerman would be sucker punched in the face, have his head pounded on concrete.
He pressed that gun into Trayvon Martin's chest, and you will see with your own eyes the burn marks on each of his sweatshirts where that hot lead passed through.
And today, jurors also heard witnesses talk about Martin's trip to the convenience store. They heard a 7-Eleven employee that he met right before that encounter. They also heard several 911 calls. Zimmerman's defense attorney apologized in opening statements for using that knock-knock joke.
Until today, witness number 8 in the George Zimmerman trial was just that. It was a number. But today, witness 8 was revealed to be the teenage girl on the phone with Trayvon Martin during his confrontation with his accused murderer. Her name is Rachel. What else do we know about her? What have we learned about her?
We haven't learned that much just yet. She hasn't actually taken the stand yet. She is going to testify. But all we know right now is that she was on the phone with Trayvon the night of the confrontation. She has spoken to authorities and has issued a statement to authorities in the past. There have been kind of conflicting reports as to, what she has said to the authorities. At one point she said that she told Trayvon to run, and that he said he wouldn't run. I think there have also been reports of that she heard Zimmerman confront Trayvon. Other people, other statements said that she didn't hear that. So there has been a bit of an issue there, actually, with that particular witness. I think she also said in the past that she didn't attend Trayvon's funeral because she was sick, and then I think the defense actually learned that she wasn't sick. There were no medical records. She said that she went to the hospital or she went to the doctor and there weren't medical records. So this is one of the most interesting witnesses because obviously she was the last person who spoke to Trayvon, who Trayvon spoke to before he passed away, before he was shot. And, there seems to be a bit of a murky situation there in terms of what she told authorities.